Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to be looking at the story of Saul and how something happened to make his name be changed to Paul. We're going to look at a man who didn't like those people who were following Jesus, and yet because of an encounter he had, it changed him so much that he became a missionary whose goal was to go out and tell as many people as possible about the love of God and what Jesus had done for him. We're also going to look at what this means for our church today. We're going to watch a short animation about it. Let's begin.
The Miracle of Mercy. Paul. This is Saul. Saul was a Pharisee who hated the followers of Jesus so much that he would hunt them down to be brought to trial in Jerusalem. And he would even seek to murder them. Saul was uttering threats with every breath, and he was eager to kill the Lord's followers. So he went to the high priest. He asked him to write a letter to the Jews in Damascus that would allow him to arrest any Christians he found there. He wanted to bring them, both men and women, back to Jerusalem in chains. Now Saul went on his way, and as he came near Damascus, a light from heaven flashed around him, and he heard a voice that said, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" Saul cried out, "Who are you, Lord?" And the voice said, "I am Jesus. Rise and go into the city, and you will be told what to do." So Saul got up and he opened his eyes, but he couldn't see anything. So the men who were with Saul led him into the city. After 3 days, a man named Ananias came to Saul. He put his hands on Saul, and immediately Saul could see again. And with that, Saul became a follower of Jesus. He became the very thing he had tried to hunt. And he immediately began telling people that Jesus is the Son of God, and he taught them about the mercy of God that he had received. And all who heard him were amazed. He then went by a new name, Paul, as he began preaching not just to the Jewish people, but to everyone. Despite many difficulties like being imprisoned, shipwrecked, and narrowly escaping death multiple times, Paul continued to preach about Jesus. Paul said that he would do everything he could to save people and help them know God. And that's just what he did in order to reach people who would otherwise be unreached. And many came to know Jesus because of what Paul said. Paul taught many in his day through his letters, but even more have come to learn more about Jesus through the letters of Paul that can be read even to this day.
That's quite an exciting story, isn't it? Could you imagine what it felt like to be Saul walking on his way to Damascus, and all of a sudden a bright light came and shone down on him, and he realized that he was talking to Jesus? That changed his whole heart. That instead of being a man who wanted to put people in jail who followed Jesus, he became a man who wanted to go out, and his heart was to tell everyone about the love of God and what Jesus had done for him. He didn't mind if he was thrown in jail. He didn't mind if he was shipwrecked. He didn't mind if he was nearly beaten. It was really important to Paul that he showed everyone the love of God. Now I wonder what this means for our church today. Do you know? I think it means that our church needs to be a church that is directed by God, that we remember to bring God into everything that we do. Shall we have a prayer to ask God to help us in our daily lives? Because who is the church? It's not the building, is it? You're right, we've learned that the church are the people, you and me. So let's close our eyes and have a prayer to God. Dear Lord, thank you that you direct our lives. Thank you that you can show us what you would like us to do. Thank you for the letters that Paul wrote that we can read about in the Bible that teach us more about how you would like us to be. Help us to always bring you into everything that we do. Amen. I hope you've really enjoyed learning about Paul and, because of his encounter with God, how it changed the way he acted to other people. Why not this week try and see if you can tell one person about God? Explain to your parents maybe about what you believe about God and how he is working in your life. I look forward to hearing from you. Have fun today.